The San Francisco 49ers and Kansas City Chiefs will be facing off in the Super Bowl next weekend. We have a connection to the big game. No, I'm not talking about Taylor Swift. Sebastian Gutierrez played offensive tackle for Minot State and is currently on the Niners practice squad. A native of Pasco, Washington, he was signed by the Denver Broncos shortly after the 2022 NFL Draft as an unrestricted free agent. Since then, he's had stints with the Patriots, Raiders, and Chiefs as well, and saw some playing time with the Raiders in 2022. We'll be sure to follow up with Sebastian after the Super Bowl on his experience. How exciting. Good luck to him.